Look, I know the daily grinds of running an e-com brand. I ran a few myself. You probably do not have the time to run a full-scale email and SMS program, but the Pareto principle applies here, which means that 80% of the results that you will get will come from only 20% of the things that you're going to do. And in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly the 20% of the things that you need to focus on to generate as much revenue as possible for your e-com brand without wasting a ton of time. So let's get into it. Who am I? My name is Hussam, and I've been in digital marketing for over 15 years and in ecom for over a decade. I've generated well over 8 figures in extra revenue for our ecom clients. I spent millions of dollars in paid media, and I've also had my own ecom brands, one which I was able to scale from 0 all the way to 7 figures in less than 16 months with a very, very minimal budget. I'm also the founder of Power My Marketing, which is a full-scale email and SMS marketing agency, and we like to work with ambitious ecom brands and help them scale faster using email SMS. So the first and arguably most important thing that you could do to generate more revenue for your brand using email and SMS is the lead capture. And the reason why is because this is the entry gate of your email SMS program. So the more people you can get through your email SMS funnel, the more revenue you'll be able to generate. And this is very, very important, especially if you're spending money on ads. So you're basically paying for your traffic. It's very, very important to capture as much of that traffic as possible because the average ecom conversion rate is about 3%. Let's say 3 to 5, and what happens to the rest? So the rest of the traffic might leave your website. Some of them might check your competitors and even buy from them. And if you could actually capture more of that traffic, let's say 10 or 20%, and turn them into email SMS subscribers, and then nurture them slowly, have multiple touch points, you will be able to convert much more of your valuable traffic. So I included an example here from Grasa, which is one of my favorite brands. And yeah, I would say pop up to capture your email and SMS. So always we have multi-step opt-in. So basically collect the email first and then collect the SMS second, and then offer an incentive, whether it's like 10% off, 20% off, a free gift, etc. And if you could get 10 to 15% opt-in rate, that's actually pretty good. You could even get more than 15%, but if you are converting 10 to 15% of your website's traffic into email SMS subscriber, this is actually pretty good. I also included a link in the description for our free masterclass. This is basically everything I know about generating as many leads as possible for your ecom brands. So check it out by clicking the first link in the description. It's completely free. The second thing I would say is setting up automations, and these are incredibly important. These are basically the closest thing to passive income if such a thing existed. And these you can basically set up and not forget, we obviously still come back and check these flows, optimize them, A/B test them, etc. But if you're short on time and resources, you can just set these once and then they will continue generating revenue for your brand on autopilot. And you can see here one of our clients' emails. This is the first email of the welcome flow. It has generated $50,000, and the conversion rate on this email is 7.4%. You can see the open rate 60%, which is incredibly high. You can see the click rate is 10.3%. So these automations are very, very important. And I would say if you are short on time and resources, you can start with the welcome flow. This is the most important flow for the majority of ecom brands. And then you have the checkout abandonment. It's a very high intent flow. Basically, people got to the last step before placing an order and then they abandoned. So with this flow, we try to address their objections, try to ease them into placing their order. And then you have the browse abandonment. So this is if someone basically viewed a product on your website and then they bounced, they haven't added to cart or initiated checkout. Then you have the post-purchase review request. So basically, this is after someone places an order with your brand. And we also ask them to submit a review for an incentive. The reason these are very important is that we use social proof or reviews in some capacity in about 80% of the emails that we send, and our clients use them a lot in the ads as well. So they are very, very important. It's incredibly important to collect as much feedback as possible for your customers. And then we have CLTV flows. So these are basically designed to increase the customer lifetime value. I would say with the welcome flow, maybe even checkout abandonment, you try to increase the conversion rate. So basically first time purchases. And then with the CLTV flows, you try to increase the customer lifetime value, because the more or the higher your CLTV, the more you can afford to spend at the top of the funnel to scale faster. So if you are able to spend $50 to acquire a customer and your competitor can only spend $30 because they don't have a big enough LTV, then they will never be able to compete with you. So this is why these flows are very important. And I highlighted about 3 here. So cross cross-sell. When after someone receives your product, tries it for maybe a few days, you can send them a cross-sell, send them basically a complimentary product or something like that, or promote it. Then you have the replenishment. If you sell replenishable products, maybe like food or cosmetics or something like that. And you have the win back. So this is not the wing back, it's win back. Actually, it's a typo. So this is a last ditch effort to try to bring back people who haven't placed an order with you in about 60 or 90 days. So yeah, the first thing, lead capture. Second thing is automations. And then the third thing is campaigns. And you can, if you're short on resources or time, you can start with 1 to 2 campaigns per week. Obviously, it really depends on how big your list is and also how big your brand is. Yeah, we have brands, sending 2 emails all the way to sometimes 5 or 6 emails per week. So yeah, but if you're short, again, on time or resources, you can start with 1 to 2 campaigns per week. And I would recommend to keep promos to a minimum, because I really try to avoid doing sales or discounts as much as possible, because if you do them too often, they will devalue your brand, and people will just wait or expect these discounts and they will not buy full price. And these could actually hurt your brand significantly. So try to avoid running these often. Yeah, you can do 1 promo every 8 weeks, maybe like every couple of months, it's okay. And mainly on themed holiday, when you have an excuse to do it, let's say on Valentine's Day or maybe Mother's Day or 4th of July or something like that, because a lot of other brands are also going to be running these promos. But don't overdo it. So the majority of the content is typically trying to explain basically mission, vision, the unique selling propositions of your product, highlight a lot of social proof, etc. Maybe some announcements, some product launches, back in stock items, etc. Try to avoid doing these promos often. And then you have the 4 E's of content, which are educate, engage, entertain, and empower. So these are typically what we center our email campaigns around. So the first one is to educate. Try to educate people about either your products or even your industry. So let's say if you are selling supplements, let's say multivitamin or something like that, then you can highlight the importance, maybe some studies of that people are not able to get all of their nutrients, maybe like vitamins or minerals or something like that from the modern diet, and how this can help them basically compensate for that. Or yeah, you can maybe bust some myths, maybe 5 myths around multivitamins. And you can, myth number 1, maybe it's going to be, let's say they will not replace, or multivitamins could replace a healthy diet, which they couldn't. So yeah, basically content that educates people about your industry or your products. Engage, these are emails that help people get engaged with your brand, basically get higher engagement. Entertains, which is very, very, I like these types of emails, and it really depends on your branding guidelines, obviously your brand itself and the tone of voice. Some brands are a little bit more serious, like if you're selling, I don't know, industrial or pharmaceutical products, maybe to companies or something like that, if you're in the B2B space. But generally speaking, we like to send these entertaining emails even for those types of clients, because they are just lighthearted. They get people to smile or laugh, connect with your brand better. And if you can get someone to laugh, then yeah, that's a surefire way for them to like your brand. And then you have the last E, which is empower. This is basically to empower your audience to improve their life, to get better. So these are the 4 types of content that we typically send. Then I mentioned here, maintain branding guidelines and tone of voice. This is very, very important, because one of the biggest complaints I hear from the prospects that I talk to, e-com brands doing all the way 6, all the way to multiple 8 figures, when they work with other agencies, they said, hey, the biggest issue was actually that they did not get our branding guidelines and tone of voice. So this is a huge, huge issue. And yeah, a lot of the agencies, they are not able to understand how the brand communicates and what ticks basically for the brand that they can communicate through their content or their emails. So this is very important to maintain those branding guidelines and tone of voice. And you can see here for this brand that's called Bored Cow, you can see, yeah, they're using like elements. This one is for like fall kind of email. You can see the colors here align very well. And if you take a look at either their ads or maybe their website, you see that their emails are only an extension of their other channels. And it's not like a completely separate thing. So this is very, very important. And then I have this, as long as you can keep your open rate above 35%, click rate above 1 or 1.5%, bounce rate below 0.8, unsubscribe below 0.3, spam complaint rate below 0.08, you're basically golden. And this is also a question I get often, brands asking, hey, how many emails should I send per week? And I say send as many as you can, as long as you can keep these low. Basically, if you can keep your engagement high, like open click and order rate, etc., and you can keep the negative metrics, basically unsubscribe and spam complaint rate low, you can get away with sending more emails. But if you notice that these metrics are starting to get affected, then you can adjust your frequency a little bit. But again, if you're short on time and resources, you can start with 1 to 2 campaigns per week, and then you can scale from there when you have more resources. And by the way, I included also links to our other masterclasses. So there is a masterclass where we show you exactly how to set up all the automations. And this is everything I know about automations to generate 25% of your total revenue from these flows. And I also included another link for how to create campaigns that sell. And some of the campaigns we send for our clients generate up to 5 figures. So this is also 50 plus pages of recommendations that you can follow to make sure that your email campaigns are set up for conversions. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you focus on these 3 areas, then you will be able to generate 80% of the results that you could generate potentially from your email and SMS program. So if you found this video helpful, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I also included 3 links to our free guides that you can download for free. This is everything I know about the subject. The first one is lead generation, how to generate as many leads as possible for your brand that you can nurture and convert into first and then repeat customers. And then how to set up all of your automations. I show you exactly like step by step how to set up each of these emails and in each of these automations, and then how to create high converting emails for your brand. So yeah, you can check the links to download those for free. And if you have an e-com brand and you'd like to generate between 35 to 50% of your total revenue from email SMS, then you can click on the last link to schedule a quick 50-minute call with me. I'm happy to offer you a free in-depth audit of your email and SMS program where I show you exactly what's missing in your account, what could be improved, and how much more you will be able to generate when all of the improvements are implemented. This is 8 to 10 pages of expert recommendations that are tailored to your brand. So click on the last link and I'll talk to you then.